Got to do the integral of 6 sine x between 0 and pi. All right, how do we do it? The integral is the antiderivative. Now, this is where people can get confused. Let me help you with this. So remember, um, if you take the sine, the derivative is cosine. If you take the cosine, the derivative is negative sine. Right? So here's what I do to do, because we're going to be getting into lots of antiderivative. What's the antiderivative? It's the opposite derivative. I don't try to remember opposite derivatives. I'll just get all confused and turned around. Instead, I just know really well, really cold, really clear derivatives, and then I just think them backwards. So in other words, I just say, okay, I know the derivative of any cofunction, cosine, cotangent, cosecant, all the cofunctions is what? Negative. And all the other ones is not negative, positive. Right? So again, one more time, the derivative of every cofunction is negative, period. Well, comma. And the derivative of other functions is positive. Okay, so what? We're not doing the derivative, we're doing the anti, right? So I just come down here and I go, it's 6 cosine of x, or maybe it's negative 6. I don't know. At first I just write it. I just write the positive one at first. And then I ask myself, if I was to do the derivative, right? It's the opposite, right? Anti goes this way, the derivative goes that way, right? They're opposites. If I take the derivative of cosine, what is the derivative of any cofunction? Negative. It would go back and try to be negative. Think, oh, we can't do that. So what does that mean? We need a negative here, don't we? Now I know. Why? Because take this now. What's the derivative going to be? Derivative of cosine, derivative of any cofunction. That'll put another negative, and the two negatives will go back to positive. So I know I've done it right. To see how I thought there, I just take a guess at first. I just write it positive at first, and then I just think about the derivative going back, and I just know the derivative of every cofunction is negative. And I go, well, if I don't have that negative, the derivative will go back and be negative sign. That's not right. So I need a negative so that when I do the derivative, it'll put another negative. The derivative cofunction pops another negative. Two negatives, it'll go back to positive. That's correct. Okay. So you really got to get that straight. Make sure you're good with that. Okay. So now we're going to evaluate this thing between 0 and pi. Okay. So here we go. So I'm going to take, first off, I'm going to do the first one. And I'm going to plug in the pi. Boom. Get minus 6 cosine pi. And then subtract. And then comes the other one. And that's going to be minus 6 cosine. And then you plug in the 0. Like so. Okay. Now, you can go to Desmos. I would probably just make this both positive right there, right? Two negatives make positive. So I would just type in minus 6 cosine pi plus 6 cosine 0. Now you might know already, cosine of pi is negative. You can go to Desmos and find out it's negative 1. The cosine of 0 is positive 1. So this is going to be negative 6 times negative 1, positive 6 plus the other 6. 6 and 6 is 12. That's the correct answer. Again, you can just type it all in Desmos, but if you're gonna, make sure you're in radian mode, because that's a radian angle, right? Let me go to Desmos and show you. Minus 6 cosine pi. So minus 6 cosine pi. See how I'm in the wrong mode right now? I'm in degrees. I'm gonna fix that. Let's go back to us. And then so minus 6 cosine pi plus 6 cosine 0. Plus 6 cosine 0. Again, the answer is coming out wrong, but then you click the radian button. There it is. See the degree radian button? Be careful. Remember, you're in radian. How do you know? Because pi is radians. It's not degrees. So there we go. It's 12. You can just do it that way if you want. And so there we go.